You know what? When the day doesn't go the way that you want it to go, the best thing you can do is find some solitude and good food and a braai and a few charcoalies. As you know, cowboys don't do cooking programs. Cooking programs are plenty out there and everybody can teach you about barbecue. What we're going to teach you is what you probably shouldn't do. We've got this piece of pork belly left, and a pork belly is like ice cream and chocolate sauce to them cowboys. And that's really what this whole thing today is about. Is we're going to show you a little bit about the Yoder Flat Top. We're going to show you how to braai, because that's really what the flat top's about. It's about grilling, and it's about more direct heat. And I could probably not have chosen a more difficult thing to use than a little piece of pork belly. We're going to make the pork belly a little bit smaller. There you go. And I like to have my pork belly dry. Control how much spices and things are on it. So all we're going to do is a little pat down. And we're going to cut them about 1.5 inches thick so that we can almost treat them like fat bacon. That's what I am hoping to do. And then we'll season them, cook them on the flat top with some charcoal from Acacia Barbecue so that we can caramelize our pork belly and drink a lot of beer while we're doing it. So bear with me. I'm just going to cut this and then I'll be back with you. I'll be back soon. If you cut them like that, not only do they cook faster, you get more seasoning all over the place as well. We can do all kinds of fancy kinds of seasonings. We're not going to do fancy seasonings. We're going to share something really simple, something you can get everywhere. First thing I like with my pork belly is a little bit of Asian fling. We're just going to do some good old soy sauce. This is where the flavor layering jobby comes in. We are going to put some saltiness comes with some umami. I don't know. Then we go to our go-to guy, which is the vinegary, so we can get some tartness onto our pork belly. Red Hot Frankie is not paying us, so we keep his names away. Make sure there's a good generous helping of Franks on it, because that's where the acidity comes. That's going to break down some of that really richness of the pork belly. So we've got them all nicely drenched. Now where's the rub? What do you reckon, cowboy? The reason why we're doing it the way we are today is because you can do this at home. There's no special mojo, all the other interesting things. If you're just a regular guy, you get yourself a really expensive cooker like we do out there. You drop a few $1,000 on it. You probably don't have too much left for fancy seasonings and things until the next bonus paycheck comes, which is far apart in our latest world. But just a bit of a rub here. The other thing that's important about this rub is, even though we've got salt in already, be careful. Check your rub. Make sure there's no extra salt in that, because you're going to end up with some pretty salty porks. So for those of you who don't know what a flat top is, it's really a grill. Effectively, it is a big bed of charcoal. I'm going to open it up here, which we have these grits. And the best way to cook with this thing is, like all grills, is you don't want it all to be the same temperature everywhere, because with grilling, sometimes you need hot, sometimes you need cold, sometimes you want to start off a little cooler, sometimes you want to finish a little hotter. So you have the whole plethora here, and just because Yoder does a really good job, they also give you a lid with a chimney, so you can actually slow cook things like briskets, pork butts and so forth by closing your lid, forgetting about it, and regulating your temperature. So that's a good question, is how do you regulate the temperature? The way you do that is, once you made your fire, keep the lid closed, because if you're looking, you're not cooking, and there's some holies here at the bottom where you can set how much the flow is for temperature. Next step in this whole thing is, too much talking, now we're going to make some fire. Well, you should have learned by now, if you're doing any kind of grilling, is don't overdo the fire. This is a big grill. There's a lot going on in this grill. And if you overdo the amount of coals you're going in with, you're going to end up with a really hot fire. Many beers later. Not really. You see, the interesting thing about a flat top is you can do two things with a flat top. You can cook direct and indirect. And what we've done here is started off on the direct heat, give it a really nice golden color, and then after that we moved it to indirect, and we just melting the fat away. But the sound is still there, and I think we're ready to pull this. And if we pull it, look at that, the golden color that's on these things. I think we're perfect. We've got it right. Cowboy, what do you reckon? And that's how easy it is to cook a pork belly. See how soft this is? Look at it. Soft, soft, soft. Really well cooked. I'm gonna have another bite. That's a winner. Absolute winner. So, simple things. Direct, indirect. Get yourself a Yoder Flat top. A little bit of sprinkles, some sauce. And the best thing of all is, get yourself a bunch of friends, like the Cowboys, and hang out with them. This thing makes it easy.